welcome to About You. I'm Ellen Rogers. Well, there's a charity in our area that has been serving families for 100 years. Throughout that century, it has changed, grown, developed, right along with the needs and struggles of those they serve. Oakland Family Services has been here to provide safe homes, help those suffering from abuse and neglect, along with those dealing with trauma and mental health issues. With us today is the Director of Development, Kristin Benton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
100 years, a whole century. You know, I think I read in Birmingham's only, been a city for 185. So 100 years is really an accomplishment. And you've stayed in business.
We have. We're very proud of that. We have weathered a number of things in the last century, and we plan to be here for another century to come.
Give our viewers a brief overview of what Oakland Family Services is about and what type of things they provide.
Yeah, absolutely. We really make a point to be a safety net for our community, a safety net for our neighbors, and that is for people from birth on throughout their lifespan. So we say we work in prevention, education, and treatment, and we deal with the things that are unexpected, the things that rock your plan, your life plan. That could be stress, it could be trauma, it could be anything that happens along the way that maybe we weren't expecting. But we're also there to help people with things like developmental delays when they're very, very young, making sure that children are ready to start school, that they are on track developmentally. We want to be there to support families and support neighbors, and so we've really made a point of making sure that we have programs that people can use throughout the lifespan.
I was surprised when I've seen, read Oakland Family Services. I always think it's one location, but I'm assuming that you started in one location, but you've really grown to several locations. Tell us about that growth.
Absolutely. So our main location and our oldest is in Pontiac. It's our central administration. It has been a number of things. It was the home of someone in city council. It has been an Elks Lodge before we acquired it. And it's really been kind of itself has been a pillar of the community. So we've been there, and that houses all of our programs. But we have other locations. Our Berkeley location offers our treatment programs, and we have in Walled Lake treatment and preschool. Now, what's great over the last several years, as things have changed, the internet has grown, we no longer are bound by our location. So we can actually provide a lot of our programs in our clients' homes. So we are not restricted to Oakland County even. We can provide services for people in other counties, and we can come to you. So that has really been an incredible change over the last several years. And then, of course, in the last 2 years with the pandemic, a lot has gone virtual, so we can really provide our services anywhere.
So that you were already set up for COVID then, truly.
We were. We had to do a little bit of shifting. There were some things, as everything shut down and everyone had to go home. But we were ready for that, and we were making strides. We were very strategic in our planning, and that has served us well in the last few years.
Tell us about how it got first started, how it was founded.
It was founded as Children's Aid Society, so it was about helping foster children, really helping them, and it was founded by volunteers originally. So looking to provide the services and the clothing, the things that foster children needed while their lives were just in turmoil. And it has grown as the needs in the community have grown. So we still provide foster care and adoption. We place children in their foster homes and licensed homes, but we do so much more now, and it really is about serving the individual and the whole family.
How did you get connected to the agency?
So it's kind of an interesting story. I actually grew up around the agency. My mother worked in our finance department when I was a kid. So I spent a lot of time volunteering with Mom and going to work functions. I didn't really understand at the time what Oakland Family Services did. I knew it was a great place with great people. But as a young adult, I was actually going through nursing school and was waiting for my clinicals, and was looking for a new position, and something opened up at Oakland Family Services, and I thought, I know them. They're great, So I started as in their front office as a receptionist in what we used to have a Farmington location, and fell in love with the programs, fell in love with the mission, and really changed my focus. I said, this is where I want to be. I love what we do and the impact we have, and I have been there. It will be 15 years this fall.
What was that, your light bulb moment where you're like, wait, mom's been doing this, I could do this too?
Yes, and it's interesting. My mother has shifted to, she works exclusively with seniors in another organization.
So she's still there?
She not there. She's in a different organization now, but she still comes around and now she volunteers. But it's really kind of a family organization, and what's great is we see that now with some of our employees as their children volunteer and come around. It kind of shapes their goals and their, what do they do in college and what do they want to do after school. So it seems we are a family organization through and through.
So how many employees and who are your employees then?
We have around 100, give or take 175 employees at any time, and they range from our office staff, our professional staff in terms of marketing and communications and IT, but we also have early childhood specialists, we have teachers, social workers, we work with physician's assistants to manage medication, psychiatric medications, and do visits. So we have a number of staff that are in the buildings and working in the community for us. So
it's such a large organization. Why don't we just break it down for our viewers on,
Absolutely.
There are three main sections that you can tell us about?
Absolutely. So we'll start with prevention. So we look to prevent child abuse and neglect, and then to make sure that children are developing appropriately and on track. So there's a couple programs in that area. One of them is called Early On. So we work with parents of children 0 to 3. We help them identify any delays. We know the sooner a delay is identified, the easier it is to correct. So we want to make sure that as a child is entering school, that we have done everything we can to make sure that we've corrected any delays or put plans in place for children.
So when you talk about a delay, is that maybe a processing issue or a reading issue, that sort of thing?
It could be a processing issue. It could be a speech delay, maybe a fine motor skills, gross motor skills. It could be a cognitive delay. But we really want to make sure that we are identifying that and helping the parents get connected to whatever resources they need, whether there's things that we provide or things that our partners in the community provide so that their children are ready to go for school. And then we also work with families that are looking to be foster parents. So we license foster homes. You can come to us and open a foster care license. It's really open to anyone in the community that is willing to open their home. So we help you go through the process. We make it very easy for you. We will help place children. And we work with people who are interested in being foster parents. So if maybe you have an affinity for working with teenagers and you say, I don't want to do the infant stage right now, but I would like to focus with teens, then that's fantastic. That's what we'll do with you. So we work with our foster parents. We place the children in foster homes. The goal is reunification with their birth parents. But if that's not possible and children need to be adopted, then we also finalize adoptions to make sure that kids have forever homes and they're in safe, loving, nurturing environments.
So for someone wanting to be a foster person, a foster home, are there classes? Or, do you go through the home and say, okay, this is what you need to change?
Yes. There's a home visit that we do. They call it a home study. So we're coming in to look at what's the environment like. Do you have the space for a foster child? There isn't an income requirement, but what we don't want to do is put stress on the family by adding another mouth, right? So we come in and we look through it. We look at all of those things. There is a background check that we do on everyone to make sure that everybody's going to remain safe. And then there is some training that you go through to complete your license, so that it gives you an idea of what you can expect when you take in a foster child. What things might they have seen or been exposed to, what supports you might need, because you don't know what a child has been through or what they're dealing with. So where can you find those supports? We also provide support groups for foster parents so that they can talk about the things that they're experiencing. What helped your foster children? How did you bond? How did you get them to open up? How did you get the break you needed, the self-care you needed, right? So we do provide all of that.
Do you have, I know we talked about adoption, do you have long-term foster care? My sister was a foster mom, and I think Julie was there maybe 10 years. And then her parents were available, went through treatment and were available to bring her back. So do you have many of those situations?
We do. I mean, it varies a lot. It's really dependent on what the courts decide. So, the goal is to really get mom and dad or whomever is going to be the permanent guardians of the children in a good place. So that might be maintaining a job. It might be counseling for themselves. It could be housing issues. And so sometimes kids go home and then re-enter foster care. We really want to make sure that when they go home for good, that they're in a good position, they're safe. So we have had children in foster care for many years. Some it's just a short stint.
Okay, so that's the foster care and the adoption aspect.
Yes.
Let's go on to maybe the treatment aspects of
Absolutely. So we do treatment for children through adults. So there's a couple different kinds of treatment we do. It's under our Day 1 program of Oakland Family Services. So anyone can get treatment for mental health concerns, depression, anxiety, trauma issues, or they can come to talk about and address their substance use. So these programs are not restricted by location, they're not restricted by income level. We do take insurances, so you could bill your insurance and come see us by all means. We do some family therapies, there's a lot that we do, but we have some specialty treatment programs. So there's a program just for moms, and that's unique to Oakland Family Services. It's called Project Recovery Intensive Services for Mothers. And I say the whole thing because it's PRISM and it's a little difficult to understand. But it's a specialty intensive treatment program. So mothers who are either at risk of losing or they've recently lost their children because of their substance use. And our goal is to really create a regimented schedule, an intensive therapy schedule that helps get them back on track. It gets them sober, it gets them addressing the issues that led to the substance use. It could be an abusive relationship, again, housing issues, financial concerns, whatever those issues are, there's a lot of what we call case management. So it's not just the therapy. What else do you need to be successful? And let's make sure we get that so that your kids can come home. We want to make sure that your babies are born healthy if they're pregnant mothers. We want to make sure that they are born without any substances in their systems. So they're in group therapy, they're in individual therapy. They often have a lot of other components that they have to complete, especially if they are court ordered to us, though not all of them are. And then their children can be returned home to them. One of the things that makes that stand out, that program stand out, is we actually provide childcare for moms while they're in care.
Yeah, so you can actually take in the information.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit, that I was 33 when I had my daughter, and I don't remember, I think the last time I actually held and took care of a child was when I was 17. So there were all these years that, I'm pregnant, I'm just going to have a baby, and then I get the baby, I'm like, oh my gosh, when's the last time I changed a diaper? And that's being a sober person. I can't imagine the stress of, having to take care of yourself also.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be able to remove that stressor to say, what do you need to be successful? We're going to take care of your children while you're in your sessions, while you're in counseling, while you're in group therapy. It also gives moms a chance to see that they're not alone. There are other moms that are dealing with some of the same challenges. Maybe your child has a hard time settling, and and you don't know what to do. Maybe you didn't have a great example yourself, but it builds a community. We also have some ability to actually transport mothers and their children to and from treatment. So that makes that program unique as well. But it's a program just for moms, and it's very, very successful because it's very intensive. It's very regimented. You or I, if we wanted to get counseling, maybe we're available Thursday at 2 today, and next week it's Monday at 9 a.m. But to be able to provide a regimented schedule so that they can be successful is really important. So we
and all-encompassing. And
Absolutely.
I think the child care aspect is, sure, somebody wants to get treatment, but how do I get them?
Right.
What do I do with them?
Right.
That's just, I think, one obstacle that, okay, I just won't do it. I'll just try to suffer through it.
Exactly. And learning to prioritize self-care. That's important. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else either.
So would you say what's the, I guess, of the services, what are the, where do you see the most need, and then what is the most that you provide?
We see, especially in the last 2 years, there's an increasing need for mental health services. I think all of us have been stressed in a way that we really did not anticipate being stressed. So we certainly see that. And we're seeing it more in our kids. Kids being at home, sometimes for children that need help, the people that help them are in the schools. So in the last few years, if they've been at home, they've been away from their safety net. We've seen an increase in that stress, and there was a decrease for a while in reports of child abuse and neglect because the reporters are in the schools. So now that everyone is going back to school, and for the most part, the schooling is fairly stable, right? Either kids are virtual or in person now. We're seeing more of those reports come in. We're seeing children who have been stressed, and now that's coming out. We're having to deal with that. There's been a lot of inconsistency for the children, and sometimes their behaviors in the classroom are very different than they were pre-pandemic. So, so we're seeing a lot more need for mental health services, and particularly in those that are the first-line caregivers, the people that have to provide care in this kind of crazy environment that we've been in.
Like teachers, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Teachers, you know, I just don't know. I don't know how they did it. Thankfully they did. Tell us, so if I'm someone that, you know, in need of any of those services, and I call you, let's just walk through what happens when somebody needs a service. And do
Absolutely.
I call you? Can I just stop by?
Absolutely. So you can call us, and all of our numbers route to any of our locations. Someone will pick up the phone. And tell us what you're looking for, tell us what you need, and we can help route you to the right program. So if you are a mom or a dad that is stressed out and having, you know, you're concerned about your child's development, we can get you to the right program. So you don't have to know exactly which program you're calling for when you call us. We can help you get there. We'll find out how you need, you know, how you're going to access care. If you have insurance, then we'll get that information and we'll make sure that your insurance is billed. But for some of our programs, there is a sliding fee scale, so people can pay a reduced rate if they're unable to afford the cost of care and don't have insurance. So you get a phone call from the intake person in that program who's going to walk you through, you know, basic demographics. What is it you need? Set up your schedule and get you introduced to your caseworker or your therapist. From there, depending on whether or not you're in office or in home, we set up the first visit, and it's really a getting to know you, kind of setting the stage. What is it that you hope to accomplish? Where are you starting from today, and what is it that you'd like to see? Sometimes you know what that is. Sometimes you just know you don't want to be where you are today. You just want better. And so we want to help work through that, and we make a plan with you. Let's make a realistic goal for where you want to be, and we can help you get there. We want to make sure that we're really exploring what you need, and we're making sure that we are addressing the issues that are important to you and your success.
Do you find that someone comes in for a certain service, and then you have all these other services that can come and support them in various ways, and then they're surprised by that?
Yes, all the time, all the time. There's a lot that happens in Oakland Family Services, I think, that people don't know about. But we really make a point to make sure that when we're doing, especially those initial visits, regardless of the program, we're asking about, you know, who else is in the home, who else is impacted, who else's behavior or presence is impacting you. You know, what are you dealing with every day? So maybe you're coming in for substance misuse issues, but you have a toddler that you need to get into childcare, or you have a 4-year-old that needs to be in preschool. Maybe there's something else going on in the relationship. So we really try to wrap our services around people when they come in so that they know we can address the whole person. Things don't happen in isolation. So we want to make sure that we can help as best we can.
So, you know, 100 years, you've been there a number of years, and I'm sure this is going to be difficult to answer, but is there a success story that you could share with us?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of really amazing stories, but one that stands out to me is a woman named Barbara. She shared her story for us, and she came to us in her late 50s. She had been drinking for decades. By the time she came to us, she shared that when her children were young, she'd actually taught her 10-year-old daughter to drive down a one-way street in case she couldn't drive them home. Ooh. She had had lots of issues. They were living from place to place. She left abusive relationships and even lived her and her children in their vehicle. A lot of trauma and stress. She was able to maintain a job for a while and get a place to live. But on top of all of this, she was caring for her son, who was paraplegic. He had been hit by a car at age 2. A lot of trauma, a lot of stress. And she found herself at 59 years old attempting suicide.
Oh gosh.
She was drinking 40 packs of beer a day. So upon her release from the hospital, unfortunately her insurance wouldn't pay for her to stay inpatient. She was connected with us, and she was able to get into counseling, get into women's empowerment group therapy to deal with her self-esteem, and really look back at where did all of this start? What is happening? In addition to dealing with issues from her son's care, being a caregiver for her child and all that happened with that, abusive relationships, she finally opened up and talked about some abuse that had happened to her, various types of abuse when she was a child that she just buried and never addressed. So now, fast forward, she's been in treatment for a few years with us. She has been sober for the last year and a half.
Oh, okay.
She has maintained her home, and she says one of the things that she's proud of is for the first time in her life, she's able to provide new things in her home for her family. She's able to be a role model for her grandkids and is looking to become a counselor herself to help other women the way she was helped.
What a great source, to come from someone that has been through all these situations. And how's her son?
Her son is doing well, Barbara is great. I've seen her in the building and she just lights up. It's wonderful to see someone who just felt so desolate, just felt there was nothing left for her, to feel like she has a goal, her life has meaning, she has purpose. It's an amazing thing to see.
She matters, right, right.
Absolutely.
Tell us, so we talked about the services you provide. How are you supported?
So we're supported in a number of ways. We have quite a diverse source of funding base. So we have contracts with the state. We also have some government grants and private grants as well. But we're funded through individual donations. So actually a lot of that is what I do. I work with people in the community that want to support our programs and want to support their friends and neighbors. So people can give individual donations either to the agency in general or restrict it to a program area. If there's something that is near and dear to your heart and you want to support that, by all means, we want to work with you on that. So we have a grant writer that writes grants for us. We really try to make partnerships with other organizations in this. Some of our programs, for example, our preschool program is funded by the state. There's a line item in the state budget specifically for some of that. So we're one of the providers that receive funding from the state on those.
And then if someone wanted to volunteer?
Well, they could contact us. Actually, that actually falls in my purview as well with my team. So we love to have volunteers. We love to have people come share their experience, come share their lives with our families, with our clients. So you could contact us and let us know what it is you're interested in doing. It doesn't have to be a regularly scheduled, every Tuesday for a month. It could be every now and again. Lots of different things that people can do. If you like to do things in kind of behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that you could do with our facilities team, with some of our administrative teams. We've had people volunteer and share their expertise, if it's in marketing or if it's in IT. But we also have people that, if you like to garden, both of our preschools have vegetable gardens.
And if you like babies, right?
Yes,
babies.
absolutely. We have lots of wonderful things that you can do that really enhance the programs that we offer. And for a lot of our kids, bring the world outside, inside, when maybe they can't have exposure to the things that you and I do.
Sure. So we said it's 100 years. Has there been
Yes.
a commonality throughout the years that you've seen in serving the area?
I would say absolutely our staff. Our staff are the most dedicated group of people you'll ever meet, caring, and we make a point to make sure that we are always looking at staying on the forefront of all the training, making sure that all of our models that we use are evidence-based. We want to make sure that we are using models that really show there will be improvement by following these programs and these processes. And we believe in meeting people where they are. We understand that not everyone comes in and knows exactly what they need, what they want, and is ready for change. And that's okay. That is okay. But we want to meet you where you are and get you where you hope to be.
Do you have many people that have used your services, then coming back to volunteer, to be the mentors, be the examples?
We do, and I think one of the things that speaks highly of Oakland Family Services is we often have children that have gone through our preschool programs, been successful in their lives, and now have their own children and bring them back. They want them to have that same quality start. We do see families that go through our programs, and they certainly want to give back, and sometimes they do that through holiday programs, being able to give gifts to other clients in need, things like that. So we do see people that want to keep connection with us.
Well, we don't want to be remiss because you have a 100-year celebration, a gala. Tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Yes, it's called A Roaring Century. It's been the last 100 years. On May 14th, we're going to be at Bloomfield Hills Country Club, and we are going to celebrate 100 years of service. We're very excited. It's going to be a great night. We are almost sold out, so if someone really wants to attend, please contact me as soon as possible because we would love to have you celebrate with us. But it's going to be a night to remember. Cocktail attire, and we say you could dress in cocktail attire from the 1920s or the 2020s, whatever you prefer. So it'll be a great night. Live music. We've got some great raffle prizes that people can win. A lovely meal from the country club. It'll be a night to remember.
That sounds fun. Tell our viewers how they would reach if they need services or if they want to attend, if they want to volunteer or donate, if it's different numbers or the same.
Well, you can give us a call at 248-858-7766. That's the one number you need if you're going to call, and we'll direct you to where you need to go. You could also visit our website, which is oaklandfamilyservices.org. All of the information you need is there, from volunteering to donating to accessing services. It's all in one place.
Well, I think great success, 100 years. Wish you, another 100. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And,
Thank you.
And we encourage, anyone that wants to attend the event to call, or if you're in need of a service, then to call.
Thank you so much.
That's all we have for About You, where every woman has a story worth sharing. Thanks for joining us.